Sorry about that sound in the background. That's the fan. It keeps it cool in here. Hi, family. Mom, Dad, Hopefully, David, Mahaya, Amy, Chris, Michelle, your husband, George, Rachel, your husband, Keenan, Uncle Freddie, Uncle Billy, Aunt Becky, even maybe even as much as far as Kim. How are you all doing? Aunt Marie, how are you all? From the bottom of my heart, I need you to listen to me and know that I love you and that I have no purpose to deceive, misconstrue, misrepresent, and I never have. Never have. So what we need to do is we need to talk about the situation like we should have. Not only all that time ago, but back when this whole controversy started. Do you guys realize that by not answering the questions that I have, it makes you guys look really shady? Because normal family members, first of all, wouldn't behave this way, blowing off what I was telling you was going on. But then again, you guys weren't talking to me, and he was talking behind my back the whole time. Yeah, so when you've never dealt with a criminal before, you don't know what to expect. You just know that you're dealing with a criminal, and yeah. So it turns out Jorge was planting seeds of lies behind my back when I didn't even know it, and the only thing I was focusing on was raising Alec, trying to do the best job I could, having to put up with his harassment. So let's get a few things straight. Let's tell you a little bit about Jorge, because you guys don't ever ask me any questions, and I just find it odd, but whatever. So yeah, I met Jorge in the town of Phelan. I went up to visit Mom, and she sent me to go get some propane. She sent me to go to Ace Hardware in town, and I went there, and he was working there, and he goes, "Yeah, you should take my number." He put it in my phone like real quick, and we ended up going out on a date like less than a month later, February 19th, actually. We got up to a real weird start, we had our first date. When he picked me up, he had to pull over and threw a brown bag with a bottle in it away, a whole bottle. I don't know what to think. We went out. We went to this cute little place in Costa Mesa. That was that night. The next night, he blew me off. The next date, he blew me off. I was calling him. The next day, he finally answers his phone, and he said that somebody had flown in from Utah. He forgot about was flying in, and that he went and picked her up, and so I said, well, send her home. So he sent her home, and then on our third date, he comes down to Orange County, and even he gets a phone call from someone saying, "I'm at the airport." He had somebody else flying in from Utah. What is wrong with this guy? Oh my God, yeah. But we had a good time. I actually had to drive him home. He got so drunk to the desert, and we just started dating a little bit. We didn't live in the same area. I was staying with my friend. He was in Wrightwood, or Pinyon Hills, actually. But we started seeing each other, and shortly thereafter, okay, we're talking, I went out with him February 19th. April 9th, I happened to know the date because he intentionally inseminated me. We're talking, it was my fault for doing the pull-out method, but needless to say, he was pulling it out. And this day in particular, he held on to me and came inside of me. I remember, because it was pretty much the last day I had sex with him, ever. It was April 9th. I took a pregnancy test on the 17th. It was negative. On the 21st, it was positive. I got pregnant with this man when he was a stranger. Shortly thereafter, he went to the gym or something, said he was going there. He was gone for like 6 or 7 hours, and I called him on the phone, and I'm like, "Where are you?" We got into a little bit of an argument. No, we didn't get back. He came back 6 or 7 hours later. Excuse me. He was sweating and acting all paranoid. I didn't know at the time anything. I was like, wow, what's wrong with him? I couldn't even use my phone. His mom was looking at me like, don't do anything. So I couldn't basically move or use my phone all day. It was really creepy. He finally fell asleep. The next day, he sat me down with his mom and he said, I wanted to tell you what that's all about. I made some poor choices and I got into some trouble and his whole spiel. He told me about his arrests, his armed robbery, 2 counts, plus a police evasion in Utah, that he had a crack addiction. And that's what that did. That he'd spent 3 years in prison / rehab. His mom paid like $2,000 a month for it. That he had just left or just gotten out, of rehab in 2007. And that after he got out, he got arrested for breaking and entering and doing crack. So his mom said, come back to California. That's what his story was. I tried to be as understanding as possible. Well, good for you. I'm glad to hear that you got through rehab. I'm a dumbass, a very big dumbass, because there was too many red flags already. But again, this is my point. I was already pregnant by the time I found out anything of consequence. And it's a mission of mine to get awareness to this circumstance, but we'll talk about that another time. So after he comes back, he has a paranoid attack. Then he says he's going to go to the gym again. That's the day that I call him. I'm like, where are you? We got into an argument. And because I was like, what are you doing? Because last time he came back, acting paranoid, acting like someone was coming after him. I'm like, what are you running from? We got into an argument and get off the phone with each other. And he calls me back and he says, yeah, my mother heard our argument. She doesn't like the way she hears you talking to me. So she wants you to leave within the hour or she'll call the police. Okay, I've never dealt with anybody so aggressive like that. Nobody calls the police like that. That's, unless you have to. That's just lame. I left all right. That was the end of our relationship. Okay, that was the end of it. That was the end of Jorge being a father of my child. That was the end of Jorge being my partner. That was the end of Jorge even being a friend. That was the end of Jorge. Okay, so mom's friend Robin lets me come and stay with her in Santa Ana. Jorge came and saw me once, but towards the end of the pregnancy, I needed to figure something out. So he said, you can come back to my mom's house. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I got there to his mom's house December. I was there just a couple weeks before I ended up having Alec. That was when I met Christina. So this guy was already off to a bad start. I was never going to be his person. He was never going to be my romantic person, but we're going to try to do this. I'm trying to be as amicable to this guy as possible. He gets the business. He's not even running a business. He's getting up. Anyway, I'm not here to complain about the details, and I do get lost in them. I apologize. I got a job, and I got a place in Seal Beach, and I said, you can have one shot. You can come down there with me, and I'll, because if you want to try and get on your feet, you can get on your own feet, get your own place, get your job, and stuff like that. I moved to Seal Beach. I start my job. Within 9 months, there was 3 incidents. The first incident was on a Friday when I asked him if he'd go pick up Alec, because one of the clients that paid us for services wanted to bring us downstairs for cocktails. And it was a small company. And it was a time to schmingle and schmooze, get to know these people. So I asked him, can you do that? So I'm downstairs at the restaurant below our office, and he walks in with Alec on his hip, and he bumps the guy I was talking to, who happened to be the client, and says, if you don't get home right away, there's going to be some serious consequences. Wow. He's treating me like I'm some loser. I don't rush after him. I was like, wow, whatever. I just chilled out for a minute, and I said, I'll see you guys next week. Right down the street. So I get home. He's packing a bag. He's pretending like he's crying. I just can't handle this anymore. I'm like, what? Living on the beach in Seal Beach, not having a job? What can't you put up with anymore? I'm taking Alec and I'm going to my mother's house. No, you're not. You're not taking Alec with you. This is where Alec lives. You're not going anywhere with you. He goes outside. I think he's going to go take a breath, get a breath. He comes in and he goes, the police will be here any minute. They get there. They talk to each of us. And they both come back in and they go, all right, sir, is there anything we can do to help you get your things? Basically. And he's like, he's looking around for something to do. He's all, she was drinking and driving. They go, sir, we've both talked to her. She's fine if she was driving, riding a bike, riding a skateboard. She'd be fine. So they were basically mocking him. And that was that, for that incident. He tried to get, he tried to set me up. He tried to steal my child. This is the first time he tried to abduct Alec. Okay. The second time was one morning when it's a 400 square foot studio. I said, you think you could clean up today? It was just like vacuum. It was like, just do the couple dishes from last night's dinner. That's it. Just straighten up some toys. He goes, I'm not your maid. I turn around to go to the shower and I hear him come after me. I turn around and I was able to get in the bathroom just in time and he had his foot in the door. So I start trying to hit the thing. I'm like, get out, leave me alone. It's a small bathroom. What does he want to get in there for me? I see one eyeball and it starts slowly backing away. I'm like, oh my God, my baby's out there. So I take a shower. I'm going to take a shower and get out. And then as soon as I get out of the shower, he looks at me. He goes, the police will be here in a minute. I'm like, oh my God, what is this guy's freaking problem? Talk to the police. He goes, she attacked me. I go, no. He attacked me. All right, well, who's telling the truth here? You can both go to jail or you both can drop it. Yeah, I got to get to work, so I'll be dropping. Forget it. So here at this situation, I'm going, this guy is skilled. This guy threatens to call the police every time. He makes a situation. He knows how to lie. He's not scared. A 6'2", 250-pound man. He's not scared of accusing me of attacking him. It's because he's skilled at what he does. He knows how the law works. I don't. An innocent person who doesn't break the law has no knowledge of the law or of lawyers or of the system or anything like that. After that happened, I told him, I want you out. He was like, I don't have to go anywhere. I was like, you need to go. You need to go now. He's like, I'm going to slay. He goes, my family has money. I'm going to slay you in court. I'm like, oh my God. He hadn't left yet. This was came around April 20th. And a friend of mine at work gave me a pot cookie. I go, you want to share this pot cookie? And I had a little bit of pot. I had a bag of weed that I had probably for like 6 or 8 months. The guy he put everything he put in his papers as lies. So I know everything he's told you guys is lies. That I'm drinking, that I'm smoking, that I'm doing drugs, that I'm sleeping with men. It's all lies. And I'm just going to finish with this one incident so that way you can know what happened, where you guys have been going wrong, never asking me any questions. So he goes in the bathroom. He goes, can I smoke some of the pot? I go, well, go outside, He goes, I don't want to go up there. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, just go in the bathroom real quick. Just take a hit and I'll cover it up the bottom and then blow it out the window. Okay. And so then he comes out the bathroom like 5 minutes later, blowing smoke all over the place and acting all weird. I'm like, what? Oh my God. I'm thinking, never smoking pot with this guy. He's following me. He starts to sweat. I'm like, what is wrong with him? He's bothering me. I made dinner. It was like crab legs that night. And I see him looking over at Alec like he's got to get the baby and he's got to get out the window or something. That's how he's acting. I'm like, oh my God. I walk in the kitchen. There he's crouched on the floor smoking a crack pipe. I call 911. You see, because even though that's not going to make me look very good, it doesn't matter. I need to get this guy out of here. I called the police and I called an ambulance. He was arrested. Okay. He came back in the middle of the night. They let him out on his own recognizance. Said, I'm sorry. I hope I can never make this up to you. And took off. Good riddance. And it wasn't until I got the job at Bank of America in Thousand Oaks that I gave him an opportunity to try to get on his feet in the same area that we're going to. So I've been an amicable person and put up with this shit. But him and I were never clearly ever going to be a partner, a team. Okay. Why you guys feel like it's appropriate to talk to him like he's my husband, to talk behind my back like he is an authority of mine, and to assist him in kidnapping my child, I would like to know the answer to. Are you guys just out of your minds? Are you guys just biased? You guys just haters? What? So, in addition to his armed robberies in Utah, there is also a charge of forgery, a case that the lady at the court told me about. There's also Jorge Magana Vasquez. There's That's not a very popular name. Jorge Magana Vasquez in Oregon, or was it Washington? Manufacturing of drugs in a school zone. Domestic violence with child. Jorge has been trying to take my child from me since the beginning. He has a pattern of always escalating things every time. Always. He's always used the police when he didn't need to. He's always accused me of things that are not true. Here I am, just shocked and stunned that I have to deal with this guy. Like, oh my God, I'm just trying to raise my baby. I'm just trying to give her everything I can. I'm just trying to help him out and have him just like relax already. Stop being such a weirdo. Why would he be such a weirdo? I'll tell you why. Because he's there on purpose. He's got a job to do. This is a seduction racket. Men of the world, powerful men, are determined to make sure that woman doesn't get her freedom. She's his slave, and he intends on that staying that way. So that's why if you're like a wild card, unmarried woman who's not bonded to a master man, the trust people have to just get rid of you somehow, or make sure that they can not have to worry about you as a liability or anything to this effect. This is what the situation appears to be. Big time. So let me try to pull this in if I can. You've all said some very, very disturbing things. Like, for example, my mom treats me like I'm a bigger asshole than she is. And that's very sad because she just wants to project herself onto me. And I guess that's her narcissism or something. Dad, you said to me that nothing that comes out of your mouth is truth. Oh, really? Where'd you hear that? Janine, the only one that you had parenting me? No one was parenting me. So whatever Janine thinks is also lies. She's, the day that I told on her and Michelle that Michelle lied to Janine and I told her and she let Michelle get away with it. You guys went in and had an argument and you've never looked at me the same and Janine's never treated me the same. Janine comes from a family where scapegoating is the rule of thumb in that religion. Not talking religion. I'm just talking about ethics, morals. That's also a religion that believes that you atone for your sins by killing something innocent. Another crazy thought process. So I was the scapegoat, and Janine taught Michelle how to do that. Michelle was like that. She was a little sinister like that. I never thought, Michelle, after paying you to watch my child and for how close I thought we got, I never thought that you would be that way. What's that way? Jorge trying to talk shit on me behind my back and you just letting it stay secret and not saying, Allie, what's this all about? When I asked you and Kim to watch Alec, that's because I was trying to get help. The medical leave put me into this behavioral health thing, and it was for medical. They had this whole confusion thing. They wanted to have me in therapy and put me on medication. I was like, this isn't going to get me any better. And Jorge had murdered my cat ritual style on Halloween that year. You guys have no idea. I had never been better in my life. I had everything. I had filed a bankruptcy years before, so I had great credit. I had a new car. I had my pop-up tent. I had her condo. Alec and I had been in Thousand Oaks since she was 2. She had friends in the neighborhood. We had a routine. Jorge is the aggravator, and listen, he's a criminal. He's conducted himself with a pattern of violence. So yeah, I'm surprised that Jorge was able to start talking shit behind my back and nobody said anything to me. What could he possibly say to cause you to believe that not only whatever he's saying is true, but also not to talk to me about it, not to confer with me if any of it's true, not to just double check to make sure that this guy's none of you, and Michelle, none of you talked to me after 2014 when you thought I was going to lose Alec and I didn't. He was ordered to give her back. Never talked to you guys after that because, again, I got enough going on. I have no idea that you guys would conspire for the next couple years so that on October 25th, 2016, my child and my life would be destroyed. Soul assassination. Nobody would talk to me up until that point. Nobody would talk to me at that point. Nobody would talk to me after that point. And still nobody wants to talk to me to this day. Nobody wants to answer any questions. Nobody wants to treat me with any kindness or respect. All of you act like Alec doesn't exist, like Jorge's an angel, like like Allison is the whore of Babylon, and that Aledsandria is just the, disabled runt that you had to get rid of. None of you want to treat me like I have individuality. You are all hating on me just as much as you hate on Terry. She hates on herself. But there's a whole lot more going on than meets the eye. So when I became aware of the fact that things were going bad that summer in 2016, I started investigating him, and there wasn't much that I could find. But so that's how he got me. He blindsided me. I didn't see it coming. I was going to court to get help. I had already taken him to court 3 times after 2014 to stop visitation. Oh, well, that's what happened when I went to court. He was supposed to be put on supervised visitation and not get any custody. The mediator said, if you don't agree with my recommendation, the judge is going to make it harder on you and you'll probably lose custody. If you don't agree to my recommendation, which is joint custody, biweekly visitation. I'm like, he hasn't even ever had visitation with her. She threatened me. I conceded. And for the next 2 years, I had to talk Aledsandria into why she had to go. Her condition was getting worse. You guys, think about this. There are children being trafficked for sex. I'm extremely insulted that any one of you will try to redirect the conversation when I get to this part and the information that I have that indicates concerns. We're talking implicates concerns. We're talking beyond a reasonable doubt. Trying to redirect the conversation right here is what shows something that needs to be looked into. Why do you guys want to deflect the conversation? I'm absolutely terrified if my daughter's alive right now. So I was litigating against a bought-off court. Carla Hartley, his attorney, she was actually did prison time for trafficking drugs into a federal prison. But she was also arrested with the rest of her gang, their crime racket, organized crime racket in Virginia. Her AKA is Moore. Carla Moore. I wonder if there's a relation. You know that Uncle Freddie's wife works at a law firm in Ventura. I also found a UCC in California with the name Hemi, Lund, Peterson, and Saylor, which Lund is the last name of the second judge that is an assassinator. And interestingly enough, that UCC for those people was lent to them by a Torrey Pines bank. And I just happened to have remembered that from 2016. So when I'm here in Las Vegas and I see that this sober living house is on Torrey Pines, I was like, wow, what does that remind me of? Well, I figured it out eventually. Going back to that UCC, following the address associated with Torrey Pines Bank, which is like 550 something in San Diego, I was able to trace it quickly, actually, just through a few profiles, to the very neighbor of Josh Gunner. This is interesting. And it turns out his ex-girlfriend, Christine Klein, is the ex-wife of David Klein, the son of Patty Oslinker, Grandpa Tom's second wife, who also happens to be Jewish, just thought I'd mention it, who also came from Vegas. Her ex-husband or father or whatever, Jerry Oslinker, lived in this area. There's also other people that live in this area. What? So Grandpa is tied to the person I'm living with right now? Yes. But the whole entire time it's been planned. They've coaxed me into the places they wanted me to. This is just hedge fund practice. How can you influence a person's performance? Bradley, again, another installation. Who was installed on what? February 19th. He basically had me hostage. The reason why I brought him to Vegas was so that we could see his face, because I didn't know if I was going to be alive for very long. He would sharpen knives all the time around me. You guys have no idea what I've been through. You have no idea what I've been through. The night that I got arrested, my mom sent a bail bondsman to the jail. How did she even find out I was there? How did she find out I was there? Must have been some alliance with Bradley. She likes to get in an alliance with everybody. She left Josh a message just last month saying, and if you could keep this confidential, I don't understand Allie. She sends me text messages and it's concerning, and I don't have anyone to talk to about her, and she doesn't listen to me, and I can't control her. You know what, Mom? You ever thought about keeping your nose in your own business? Like, why do you meddle so much? I'm glad that I have established my boundaries here to where he knows I need to know everything that's going on because I've found enough information. So there you have it. I'm glad that he's not the kind of person that would call you back and go, yeah, hey, how can I help you? What's up? Because you got into Ismail's mind. Clearly, you got into the whole family's mind. Because when my child got kidnapped, you were all of a sudden scared of me, and you had to change your phone number, and you moved to Costa Mesa. So this whole thing happened to me. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody turned their back. Nobody asked me one damn question. So that's what I'm saying. You guys conspired. You guys conspired together since 2014. Dad said we had meetings with him. Okay. Dad also said something about your genes. What? Ooh, what are you talking about? Why doesn't anybody want to tell me what happened? What's been said? Now Michelle's alienating her children from her ex-husband. What is going on with all you people? Something very shady is going on here. And then I realized, wait a minute. You know, when I was 16, there was a guy that came and picked me up with a Porsche, a creep. I poked my nose around some of his paperwork and figured out that he had been arrested as a pedophile before. I asked Kim and Diona to help me. And we went to the police station and I reported him. He was convicted like a year later. He did some time, then he was let out. Well, he recently, just a couple of years ago or something, was convicted of like 70 years for being a creep pedophile that goes to like Philippines and gets children. I mean, this is disgusting. And when I look up that name, there's too many correlations to the people in Los Angeles who are what? Affiliates of Jorge's that Uncle Freddie is tied to. Too close for comfort. You better believe. You better believe it's all too close for comfort. Oh, well, not only that, but then Judy, the person that's also was sent in to try to fight me and assault me, a friend of his family's, she's directly linked to them in Los Angeles as well. And this business in Los Angeles looks like a pay-to-play child sex exploitation operation. And I found that address because Jorge left it behind in his own handwriting. Alex drawings left me clues that would be symbolic to me down the road, as if Alec is connected to the universe in a timeless place, to leave me the clues to know what was going on. Because if it wasn't for Alec's drawings, I would not come up with this stuff on my own. You don't come up with this stuff. And I feel absolute regret because I didn't come up with it fast enough. Did you guys realize when you were conspiring with Jorge to kidnap my child that 7 years later, you guys would be telling me to just move on with my life? And he'd still wouldn't even give me the time of day? Did you know that you were doing this to Aledsandria? Ruining her life? Leaving her to wonder if she's the one that caused this? Do you guys not realize how violent this is? Hey, Michelle, how would you like it? Somebody threw you under the bus, told lies, ruined your career, took your kids from you, made you lose everything, end up homeless on the street. And when you go, hey, Mom, can you help me? Dad goes, get out of here. I don't like you, girl. Because Dad controls Janine and doesn't let her do whatever she wants. And Dad just tries to talk shit on her. How would you like that, Janine? All of you. Any of you. None of you are putting yourself in my shoes. So it sounds to me like you guys want this. Want to punish me. Want to call me a whore. Want to call me a drug addict, alcoholic. Want to punish me. Want to. Is there money in this for any of you? Because I found some information. It looks like I've got a Y chromosome. This looks like a situation that also involves genetic experimentation. Okay? So whatever that genes conversation is, I need to know about. It looks like they're actually trying to defraud the human genome and make it look like the stuff that was associated with my Y belongs to man. Nope, doesn't. I have a medical malpractice case on my hands. I've got a miscarriage of justice case with California and the police. Jorge has got 200 years worth of charges. Conspiring in a hate crime can get you 30 years to life. Oh, it was all good when Ali was getting arrested and you were calling her a jailbird and you guys were thinking so high of yourselves. You don't like it so much when the reality of what you all have done together, in fact, could come with 30 years to life. It's most likely 10 and even less. But the point I'm making is, do you not realize that there is crimes associated with everything you guys are doing? And yet you're trying to blame me and you won't tell me even why or what for. You won't look at my paperwork. You guys just really think that I'm an asshole, but you guys don't understand how dumb you look. You guys think you guys are power in numbers. No, you guys are going to look like a straight RICO operation. Crime racket. Amy came into Starbucks one day knowing I was there. I could tell the way she walked. She was trying to pick a fight with me. She wanted to start a fight with me. Well, that didn't work, so the FBI had to send in that guy that actually did assault me. Why did the FBI get sent in? Because that was when I found the correlation with Uncle Freddie. Because I wasn't going to I wasn't trying to look for information against him, even though I knew that the way that they were behaving about the trust was wrong. But when I finally looked at Uncle Freddie, I found that one case with Pico Wholesale. Wow. And I told him, because I'm not trying to conspire. I'm not trying to, what's that word? Strategize. I want the truth on the table, and I wanted to get this done yesterday. So the sooner that I can get you guys on board with knowing what's happening, what has happened, what lies you have been told, and all that stuff, then maybe we can get Aledsandria already, right? So I told Uncle Freddie, and I believe he was the one who sent the FBI in to infiltrate me, or to meddle with me, to try to get me off the streets. Well, when I had Dad call Jorge, obviously I was supposed to die on the streets in LA. So that's why he tried to blackmail me back to California. None of what he's got is legal. None of it. So that gives you a little bit of the, well, I'll tell you about that in a second. So everything that he has said in his paperwork is a lie. So I can only assume that he's told you things that are similar and probably even worse. No, I wasn't going to hotels. No, I wasn't sleeping with men. No, I wasn't lewd with around my child, in front of my child, or anything. No, I wasn't a drug addict, alcoholic, or whore. No, I wasn't. My life had never been better, with the exception of him. This feels like Mom had a lot to do with. This feels like they abused her into this state of mind that would do this cyclic thing. It's very sad and sick. Still trying to use all this help against me to try to blackmail me to make myself look like a drug addict, alcoholic, whore. It's really stupid. It's really stupid. I haven't even told you guys anything about the things. I've almost been killed many times. So January 16th, I was investigating this one case for a Jorge Vasquez, a pedophile who's got 10 recent charges. His birthday is February 19th. It's out of Visalia. I'm researching Visalia this afternoon. I find a Jorge and Olga Vasquez daycare. Oh, that's interesting. That's his wife's name in Utah. I think it's that's what I'm researching. Then the next day, there's a headline: 6 people executed, cartel execution style, in Visalia, including a teenager and her 10-month-old child. This is to send a message. Oh, I forgot to mention. Later that afternoon, right, I'm investigating this one case, and I go to get a free 7-day membership with Court Case Finder. And when I pushed go, it was like, this email is associated with your account. And it was chase.ck@gmail.com. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I have no idea what it's about. But then the next day when the headline comes through and you find out that the people that were murdered execution style, well, the teenage girl was chased. She tried to run with her child. Who sent that to me? Jorge's in the telecommunications industry. My communications have been screwed with, monitored, assaulted, my name smeared, everything, my record ruined. And all of it is lies and bullshit. You guys have enabled it. Enabled it. Tried to participate in it. Tried to send me the shade tree. Who sent me that message? Well, when you look up that email address, in the name of the affiliates is like a Boudreaux. And Boudreaux is the last name of the sheriff in that town. Another thing. Yes? Kitty? Another thing is that I found a record in Facebook for Josh Gunther. And this guy's got one friend. And it's Alyssa's Life to Get Morals. Alyssa. Well, the girl that got murdered her name was Alyssa. Who would send me that? Well, all I know is that Jorge's the only enemy I have. But he's got people everywhere. You've all treated me like I'm an evil person, and you guys haven't asked me one question. You haven't been worried about Aledsandria. Well, I want to ask you now. It's almost 7 years later. Did you guys know that he was going to do this? And were you okay with that? Like, on what level was this okay with you guys? Ever? Can you explain to me what made you guys all agree to do this without talking to me? Because the longer that you guys play this game, every time Dad acts like, we're all sick, we're dying, everybody's sick, and they're still sick, and we're still sick. Dad, you're just trying to avoid answering the questions. And it's obstructing justice. But no. You guys want to treat me like I'm a stupid little girl. And you guys will never give me respect. That's why you talk to me this way. But as a human, I have rights that require certain courtesies. So why are you guys trying to hate on me? What did I ever do to you? What did Alec ever do to you? I had a career. I've got a 20-year career. Well, that's been assaulted. Interestingly enough, I was trying to get my notary public commission. Michelle, you got one, didn't you? Interesting. Yeah, how did Mom find out about it? She sent a bail bondsman to the jail, not to bail me out, to let me know what my charges were. I was kept on $170,000 bail for what? False charges. I was there for 34 days. I almost didn't make it back alive out of that. You have all assisted the kidnapper. You have all assisted the Moore men, and I have a good reason to believe that they're behind the genomic type of research or something. Whatever the case may be, this is a hate that started in the Moore men towards Mom, the firstborn. They made sure to abuse her and to get her away to Hawaii. And I think that, Dad, you were essentially used as the same thing as Jorge was, to seduce Mom and to hold the control so that way when they push go, he'll take the kids and leave her to look like a fuck up so she can feel like a fuck up already and just accept her role as a fuck up. Now, she was fine with it. She was more than fine being a fuck up. But I'm not ever going to think of myself like that. I'm never going to believe your bullshit narratives, and I'm never going to just cave in like that. So this whole situation has got a whole lot of uglies, and the uglies are all of you. I can imagine it. I'm seeing us in federal court. Jorge is in cuffs because he's a kidnapper. And you guys are standing there like Dad and all of you guys. And you guys were the ones that conspired behind my back. Look, a family is responsible if their minor child goes out there and causes damage and property damage and stuff, to have to pay for it, right? Because it's your responsibility. It's the same thing. It goes no matter what age you are. If you don't prevent a harm that someone's in the way of, then you occasion it, is what it says. You're allowing it. You guys allowed this to happen to me, and you guys could have prevented it. You guys aren't even poor people having to put your pennies together to help me and my child from being assaulted with this targeted framing. There was plenty of money in the you guys let this happen. You guys had more to do with this happening than you didn't. Yes, you do. So you don't have to answer my questions, but like I said, you don't get mad at me because I expect to be able to get justice. First of all, I need to find my child. No, she's alive. Have her returned to me. Then we're going to have the proper trial. So setting those things aside, right? What's this discussion of genes and curses and whatnot? Why does it feel like you guys think I'm like the Antichrist or some stupid shit like that? Why don't you guys ever talk to me about anything? What have you been told? You can't keep lying, hiding, keeping things secret and creepy and weird. It's time you get comfortable with just being honest. Do you guys know how torturous this is? You couldn't. There's no way to describe it. There's no way to describe it. I sent Rachel and Uncle Freddie the paperwork just recently just to see if you guys will do anything with your brains. And she acted like out of those 500 pages, like, what? There's nothing to see there. Okay, look, I know that I'm doing the best I can to manage lots of paperwork and evidence and stuff, so it's not the easiest to follow. You have to kind of look at each page for itself and see what it's trying to show you. But there's more than something there. There's a hell of a lot of information there. So why would you continue to enable Jorge? Why is Grandpa and Patty, right, Christine and her ex-husband David, why are they tied to this place that I'm at? Another caller that came in was the ex-wife of a friend, Billy Fixie of mine, somebody that Tasha introduced me to from like Orange, not even around Huntington Beach. What the hell? Cynthia? What is she calling? Okay. David Klein actually lived in Lake Forest, in that, like beach and something club area, Grandpa gave them all of his money. There's something very weird. When I was in jail, I had a dream about Highway 55 in New Jersey. The lady that was my bunkmate, her name was actually Janine. Is that what it was? Or I just thought she reminded me of Janine. She goes, how do you know about Highway 55? I go, oh my God, there really is one? And she said, yeah, it's an old highway. They don't use it anymore. Well, wouldn't you know? Highway 55 looks like it goes from Atlantic City right to where you would go to then just veer off over to where the Marshlands property is. There's an LC1 park. Well, LC1 is the name of the Central Sun, and Jorge happened to name his cell phone store that. Don't know why. There's that Judy that tied to Los Angeles. Her last name is Cuts, Kutz. There's like a Cuts village right over there. I mean, there's too much synchronicities and everything. That shade tree place that you guys all tried to send me to, they look like they were involved in some kind of real creepy shit. The guy that's the director, Phil Tobine, like file to binary, like downloading your brain and uploading it with what they want you to believe and remember. So that those liabilities that have memories and knowledge of crimes taking place, they won't remember what happened. So it looks like he was 23 years from bio radio effects research. Radio effects? Yeah, there's a whole lot going on. And again, I'm not a creep. I'm not a satanic person. I'm not a whore. Nope. And I'm also not a harlot. That's a wife. Man stole the covenant from the child, made woman his slave. And he likes it that way because he doesn't like to clean toilets. That's what Jorge's biggest issue is. They want to clean toilets. They want a maid. They want a slave. They're perverts. They stole the covenant. And the women that advocate men in their hierarchy are harlots. That's what the Bible's talking about. There is a whore of Babylon, and she's my nemesis. Is that my mom? Is that Janine? Is it Jessica, Jorge's wife? I don't know. But if anything, the way that the Bible story goes, I represent the daughter of Zion. My daughter and I represent the daughters of Zion. God has been showing me to the knowledge, the intelligence in the computer is the one that led me to this genetic information. You guys have no idea what's going on. It's all good on my side. I will get justice, Aledsandria, and I will be returned to one another, no matter what, somehow, some way, one way or another. We will help the world, and we will end up having a peace and harmony in the upcoming future. It's all good, ultimately. And I have faith in that vision that I've been shown. But this is messed up to all levels. And it's insulting because you guys think that I'm so stupid. And that's why I tell you all these things. Because it's like, you guys should come clean, have some self-respect. Because if we get to this, to the day, you guys will be implicated and you'll have to explain yourselves. You don't just get to get away with it. And you shouldn't expect to be able to. There's nothing to be jealous of me for. There's nothing to be... I've never harmed any of you. I've never threatened any of you. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm an emotional person, and that's okay. I got ripped from my mother when I was a child. She said, fuck it. Dad was always gone, and Janine didn't like me, so not very cool. So it turns out you guys are all just people who are self-righteous, who want somebody to blame. And you guys are clearly okay with turning a blind eye to child sex exploitation, child abuse, psychological torture. You've all been turning a blind eye to it for almost 7 years. How's that? Does it make you feel good when you go to sleep at night? You guys proud of what you've done to me? Then want to treat me like I don't have the competence to even get a job at 7-Eleven. You guys are assholes. I've had a career. Everything's been destroyed, and my child hasn't been rescued yet. So it's like I'm still getting stabbed by the knife, and mom comes up and goes, "Can you be quiet?" It's like, well, stop the guy from stabbing me first. Then I'll start screaming, So this is where we're at, you guys. What's up? You guys are hiding way too much. And lies will not fly. You won't get away with them. God's on my back. We're talking the eyes and ears that sees and hears everything. Is protecting me and my daughter. I'm the one that's found with no guile on my lips. What did you do, Michelle? You're the one that conspired since 2014, all the way back then. You never even called me. Something very, very wrong with that. Something very, very wrong with you. Something very, very, very wrong with you. It was Jorge that asked me to stop sending Alec to you because he said she was saying the name Jehovah and he didn't like that. This guy who thinks he's an authority of mine. I've been nice to that guy and helped him as often as I could. He's a psychopath. He's supposed to be on medication. Who's Jessica? You guys handed my... I don't even know what to say. Transgender. I don't even know where my daughter is, if she's alive. This is not legal on any level. So yes, there are lots of criminal charges and implications by your guys' conspiring together. And you're continuing to allow this to happen. Actions speak louder than anything. You guys need to ask yourselves why you hate me so much. And therefore, what the hell is wrong with you? You need to look in the mirror. Because I may very well end up with that gavel. I'm hoping God picks me. I got the plan. Pick me. I hope so. I'm sure there's plenty of us here that heart wants to save the world and has a good way of doing it. I hope God picks me. I hope God gives me the gavel, because I'm going to be a real good person to handle it. Because I don't bring down the axe. Do. I don't lower myself to the level of others and try to like take an eye for an eye. I'm not stupid like that. I'm much more mature than that. Much more ancient than that. So families are in fact what's ruining the world. Men exalting themselves as the head of the household master, woman who has to be a quiet, submissive wife, child who doesn't get the attention and just gets told what to do, with all these toxic family dynamics of lies and secrets, narcissists and scapegoats, stepmoms, and seduction rackets, religious lies, religious creepiness. I'm allowed to be a single mother. Mom says to me, it's not our fault that you, she said, I didn't say you could have that child. Wow, Mom, really? I mean, like, wow. And then you sounded like you felt like you were part of the cool crew. Like, it's not our fault if you decided to whatever. Wow. You guys are just mad at me because I didn't make myself somebody's submissive wife. You hate me because of my independence and freedom. You saw how beautiful my house was and how awesome it was. You can't keep a house like that if you're on drugs. If you're fucked up, you can't. You can't do everything that has to be done in a day. You guys, Mom, you were probably thinking she's on drugs. That's how she's got this place so clean. No, when you're on drugs, you don't have an organized life. You're out of your mind. You believed everything. You all believed everything he said. And I can't wait to hear the truth. What did he do? He just told you guys? Did he provide any fabricated evidence? Because he's in telecommunications. Everything of mine is fettered. He can, who knows what he's got people that can change information in the system, like the legal system, and change the name from a ticket and stuff. Who knows what else he's done to my name? I am not a sacrifice. My child is not a sacrifice. We will not be hedge fund human capital puppets. And I certainly hope that Jorge hasn't been getting investment advice from those boys, trying to make some freaking weird contract, some futures contract on my daughter. A lot of questionable information. I believe that there's a human trafficking. Well, what's happened to me is called human trafficking too. Yeah, I've been isolated intentionally. They've done it in a way to make it look like I have the freedom to make my choices, but it's not like that at all. And I've been controlled, if you will. And I could see that. I could see the things in the maneuvering. I could see them. And I knew that when I got here to Josh's that I knew by that point that this was the pattern again. So I wasn't surprised to find Christine's information and go, wow, what was Grandpa and Patty up to? Some creepy psychological research? Psychological warfare? Yeah, that sort of creepy stuff. If any of you guys believe in God, I'm here to tell you, first of all, there's no such thing as you were born in sin, and God wants you to kill something innocent so that he can forgive you. You know how sick and demented that is, Janine? You guys, first of all, think that God loves everybody. If it wasn't for us breaking the law, he wouldn't be mad with us. Okay? So now God's mad at you, and in order to get God to forgive you, you've got to kill something innocent so that he can forgive you. So in other words, he wasn't really mad at you in the first place. He just wanted something to die. That's a nice God. Doesn't sound like a God that wants peace. Sounds like a God that's going to keep conning you into believing he's not happy yet. You need to kill something else because this thing clearly lives off of that blood. What you guys worship. Wear a dead guy around your neck. Keep disrespecting Jesus. Keep disrespecting. Keep disrespecting religion. Keep disrespecting yourselves. Well, I hope you guys take an opportunity on your own. Like that means, Dad, think alone on your own. Make a decision for yourself. I'm just saying that just in case you don't. Because you're not going to want to have to turn around and go, nee. Oh, God's like, hello. No one else is there with you. You get to explain yourself, Victor. You get to explain your own actions, Victor. Why did you do this? No, I'm not going to hear that. Janine said, come on, hon. Think for yourself. Dad. What kind of a father are you? To do this. You've been good. You have been, Dad, but that's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Why are you trying to keep these secrets? Why are you so willing to throw me under the bus? Is it because I've got masculinity in me? Well, don't discriminate just because I got a Y chromosome. Oh, now all of a sudden, you know why I've got masculinity in me. Because I have masculinity in me. So? You're not allowed to just treat me because I'm a girl. It's what? Supposed to be quiet? Supposed to be sweet? Supposed to be innocent? Not these days. We are all aware of the fact that I'm able to be whoever I am. And you're not allowed to discriminate against me. So stop treating me a certain way. Stop treating me a certain way just because my mom is this or that. Stop hating on me just because you hate on her. Stop hating on me because you hate on yourself, Mom. Stop hating on me. And stop hating on me because you guys screwed up, fucked up, made a major mistake, and have rectification to make. There's criminal charges associated with behaviors of many of you. Uncle Freddie, Uncle Billy, you guys breached the trust. You guys committed trust fund fraud. And you tried to do it even worse. I'm going to make sure that gets fixed once and for all. The corporate trustee is also on the hook. But that's not my priority. My priority is Aledsandria. And I have every right to say these things. These are true. And just because you're really skilled, Uncle Freddie, at playing the game of nuh-uh and playing the game of legalese twisted around it is neither here nor there. These things are true. And you're not allowed to hate on me or try to murder me just because it's true. Just because I'm speaking the truth. You guys need to get with the program. And realize that you guys have been worshiping the devil. And I'm the one I'm being protected by God. I shouldn't have to kiss your guys' ass or beg for anything. I didn't do anything to any of you. On the contrary, you all are enabling this to happen to me and my daughter. Torture. This case is going to be front headline, worldwide news, FYI. So you might want to think about that also. How's it going to look if you do this or if you do this? You're welcome. My pleasure. I thought I'd give you guys the notice so that way you guys had the ability to think about things ahead of time, because that's courtesy. Because I'm not scheming or trying to strategize. The truth is the truth is the truth. And the truth is what, and all that matters. I believe that the world is at that point, right before the shift, and everybody's acting like zombies. So don't take it so personally either. I'm not trying to put you all in jail. I'm trying to get you guys to wake up. And to stop continuing to enable this, because I need help to get Aledsandria back. They've taken everything from me, and they don't listen to me. They don't answer my calls. The police blow me off. You guys can do better than that. As a family, we should be able to get this done. And I hope you guys think about that. So anyway, I hope I hear back from you all. Send me an email. AllisonHemme@gmail.com. Aledsandria, I love you always. Mwah.